But one line hit deeper than any data report ever could. She didn't see me as a maybe. She saw me as enough. At the showroom, change wasn't just happening, it was visible. The receptionist now greeted every customer with eye contact, with a name if available, and with dignity. Sales reps had learned to ask instead of assume. The espresso bar even added a tip jar, with proceeds funding a local youth automotive tech program, something Monica personally backed. But the biggest shift? What wasn't happening anymore? People weren't being sized up before their first words. They were being heard. Then came the final meeting. Trey had requested it. Weeks had passed since his firing, and Monica hadn't expected to hear from him again. But through HR, he reached out, asked for just 10 minutes of her time. She said yes. They met at a small cafe miles away from the dealership. No suits, no lawyers, just two people across a table. Trey looked different, thinner, nervous, but clear-eyed. "I've had a lot of time to think," he started. "I've been in sales for years, and at some point, I stopped seeing people. I started sorting them, like walking stereotypes. I didn't even realize it." Monica didn't interrupt. She let him speak. "But the way you handled it, it shook me. Not just losing the job, realizing why, realizing how I made people feel for years." He reached into his coat pocket, sliding a small envelope across the table. "I wrote a letter," he said, "to the woman I dismissed that day. I know I'll probably never find her, but maybe someone at the showroom still knows who she is." Monica took the envelope, weighing it in her hand. "I can't promise you'll ever read it," she said softly. "I just want to try," he replied. They sat there for a while. No grand forgiveness, no sweeping closure. Just two people, understanding, and that was enough. 3 months later, Monica stood at the entrance of Ellison Auto House, arms folded. Inside, a young couple, first-time buyers, chatted excitedly with one of the newer sales reps. They were asking smart questions, not just about features, but financing, service, long-term care. The rep, Malik, was soft-spoken, a former mechanic turned salesperson. He wasn't rushing them, wasn't making assumptions. He was listening. That was the real shift Monica had noticed. The pace of the showroom had changed. Steady, intentional, respectful. No one was cutting customers off mid-sentence. No one was scanning for wallets instead of answers. Monica stepped outside, letting the warm air hit her face. She thought about how long it had taken to build this place and how close she had come to losing the heart of it. Not to bad business, but to comfort, because that's what had allowed it all to slide. Success had made the team comfortable, comfortable enough to ignore the microaggressions, comfortable enough to look the other way, comfortable enough to forget that no matter how shiny the cars were, people still carried invisible wounds when they walked through the door. Sometimes from life, sometimes from places just like this. Back in her office, Monica pulled out a folder labeled Client Notes, Personal. She slid out Cynthia Harmon's email. Again. She kept it there as a reminder proof that change wasn't about protocol. It was about people. She had already shared parts of her experience on a conference call with other dealership owners across California. Some had dismissed it. Others had called her privately. "How did you do it?" they asked. She never sugarcoated her answer. "You have to be willing to tear it down," she told them. "Not just the system. Yourself too." That was the part they weren't ready for, because Monica hadn't just fired people, she had sat with her own silence. The times she had let things slide because it was easier. The times she had smiled through disrespect because she didn't want to seem difficult. She had faced those parts, and she had changed them. One night, during a late closing, She walked the lot with Malik. He had been promoted recently after a glowing review from a client who had written, "He made me feel like I belonged, not like I had to prove I did." As they walked, Malik asked a question she hadn't expected. "Miss Ellison, when you came in that day, were you hoping someone would fail?" She thought about it. "No," she said. "I was hoping I was wrong." Malik nodded. "But I'm glad I saw it with my own eyes," she added, "because now I know exactly what we're protecting." And that was what she left with her team. Every manager, every intern, every new hire that walked through the doors after, because you don't fix culture with a press release. You fix it in the moments no one sees, in the pause before you assume, in the effort to listen before deciding, in the choice to value someone for who they are, not what you think they can offer you. Before leaving for a long overdue vacation, Monica called one last staff meeting. No long speeches, just this: every customer who walks in here, who walks in here, matters, whether they leave with a car or just a coffee. Room trio: one was a repeat offender, the other two, clean records, until now. Some lessons come softly, others arrive with the force of a storm. Denise had been promoted just 4 months earlier. Now, Monica shook her head. If you've been given more responsibility and still think it's okay to talk about customers like that in a shared space, she said, then you're not leading anything. Termination? Dolores asked. Immediate, Monica confirmed. By noon, 5 employees had been quietly dismissed, each handed severance packets, each escorted out with professionalism. No drama, no grand announcements. Just a vacuum where bad habits had once thrived. But Monica knew firing people wouldn't fix what had rotted beneath the surface. The culture had to change from the inside out. "This has to be personal," she told the leadership team. "Real scenarios, role-playing. Not a slideshow in the break room that everyone forgets by the next morning. We could bring in that group from San Jose," Dana suggested. "The workplace equity simulations? They're hands-on." "Blunt, perfect," Monica said. "Make it happen." Then came recognition. "Tessa," Monica mused, tapping her pen. She's been holding her tongue for years, but yesterday she spoke up. "Customer experience lead?" Dolores asked. "Full salary bump," Monica confirmed. "And I want everyone to know why she's being promoted. This isn't about who we pretend to be when someone important walks in. This is about who we are when we think no one's watching." Outside, word had already begun to spread. Vendors whispered. Clients who had been in the building that day sent emails, applauding her response. One even posted about it on LinkedIn. No names, just praise for a CEO who had witnessed racism firsthand and didn't let it slide. Within 24 hours, the post had over 800 shares. Still, Monica kept her head down. She wasn't looking for applause. She was rebuilding something that had her name on the glass, but not enough of her heart in the walls. That night, long after the dealership had emptied, she walked the lot alone. Past every vehicle, past every service bay. She stopped in front of the showroom, staring through the glass with a different set of eyes. The problem hadn't started with the staff. It had started with the system, with what was allowed, with what was brushed aside, with what no one wanted to address unless it threatened the numbers. She made a silent vow, standing next to a row of 2024 Jaguars. Never again. The next morning, she called a staff meeting. The air was thick with tension. Everyone braced for another bomb to drop. Instead, Monica simply said, "What we do here is about more than selling cars. It's about every person who walks through those doors feeling like they matter, even if they don't look like your version of a high-value customer." She let that sit. Then, if that doesn't sit right with you, this isn't the place for you. No one moved. A few exchanged glances. She smiled faintly. That's okay. We'll show you how to do it right. But it starts today. The walls of Ellison Auto House were changing, but Monica knew she still had one final decision to make, one that would test everything she believed about forgiveness, accountability, and leadership. The next few weeks were a storm. Some employees quit quietly. 2 walked out mid-shift, leaving their badges on the front desk like a statement. Monica didn't flinch. She brought in a new head of sales from their Reno location, Arden Wells, a straight shooter, a woman with a reputation for calling out bias mid-sentence. On her first day, Arden gathered the team and said, "If you're more focused on a customer's shoes than their questions, you're in the wrong line of work." That set the tone. Training began that same week, not in the conference room, but on the showroom floor. Real interactions, reenactments. Monica insisted the trainers use actual transcripts from past incidents, changing names but keeping the words. It made people squirm. That was the point. Meanwhile, Tessa, now officially customer experience lead, was thriving. She started sitting in on every flagged client interaction, logging feedback in a new system she designed with the IT team. Her reports weren't just numbers. They included context, quotes, suggestions. Monica read every single one. "I don't want to just react anymore," Tessa told her one afternoon. "I want us to anticipate." Monica smiled. "That's leadership." Then the emails started, dozens of them, some from local dealerships, curious about what she was changing. Others from people she'd never met, black women, single mums, first-time buyers, thanking her for standing up to what they had experienced time and time again, but could never prove. One email stood out. It was from Cynthia Harmon, the woman Monica had helped in the Porsche section that day. Her message began, "I walked into your showroom, expecting to be tolerated." She had walked in expecting to be tolerated. She walked out, feeling like she belonged. Monica read Cynthia Harmon's email 3 times. The conference room. Her gaze flicked to the woman. "You too." Then she turned and walked out, her sneakers soundless against the polished concrete. As she neared the executive offices, fragments of conversations drifted through closed doors. HR, sales, management, discussions of quotas, incentives. The numbers looked fine on paper. The culture was rotten. She spotted Dana, her assistant of 7 years. "I want every team member in the conference room in 10 minutes, Monica said. "No excuses." Dana blinked. "Is everything okay?" "No," Monica replied. "But it's about to be." What happened next wouldn't just shake the room. It would shake the entire foundation of her company. When the foundation cracks, the whole structure shakes. The conference room filled quickly. 27 employees, from sales reps to marketing staff, admins to managers. Some clutched notepads. Most carried only nervous expressions. Everyone sensed something big was coming. No one knew exactly what. Monica stood at the front. No podium, no presentation, just her. "I'll keep this brief," she said. "Some of you don't know who I am. That changes today." A ripple of unease spread across the room. A few people fidgeted. Others stared, trying to place where they'd seen her before. "I'm Monica Ellison," she continued, "founder and CEO of Ellison Auto House." Murmurs erupted. A few jaws actually dropped. "I walked in today with no appointment, no heels, no badge, no last name, because I needed to see how this place operates when no one thinks I'm watching." The room went still. I was ignored by reception, talked down to by sales, shown a used Lexus like that's all I could possibly afford. And behind the scenes, I heard conversations that made it painfully clear this isn't just a bad day, this is culture. She locked eyes with Trey, the salesman who had dismissed her just hours ago. He looked like he wanted to sink into the floor. To be clear, she continued, this isn't about selling cars. It's about how you see people, how you treat people. Someone in the back started to protest. Miss Ellison, she lifted a hand. Don't finish that sentence unless you've actually seen how every customer gets treated here. Because I have. Reaching into her bag, she pulled out a slim folder. This is a report from a consulting firm I hired 2 months ago. They've been running anonymous visits to every one of our dealerships, including this one. A ripple of discomfort passed through the room. I didn't tell anyone, she said, because I wanted honesty, not performances, and what they found confirmed my fears. Some of you, you're exceptional. You treat every customer with respect, but others, you assume, you dismiss, you alienate. She set the folder down with a quiet thud. And if that wasn't enough proof, today, I saw it happen with my own eyes. Trey raised a shaky hand. Miss Ellison, I didn't mean to offend you, I didn't know who you were. Monica's gaze was unwavering. That's exactly the problem, she said. You shouldn't have to know who someone is to treat them with respect. Silence stretched across the room. Her attention shifted to Owen, the floor manager. He had been with the company for over a decade. Owen, she said, I gave you this showroom because I trusted you to build a team that reflects our values. But what I saw today, it doesn't match who we claim to be. Owen sat stiffly, swallowing hard. You're right. I'm not looking for quick apologies, Monica said. I want accountability. Her voice remained calm, but every word cut. There will be changes, some of them immediate. And if this conversation makes you uncomfortable, good. It should. A hand went up. Tessa, an admin who had been with the company for 3 years. Can I say something? Monica nodded. I've seen it, Tessa said. Exactly what you're talking about. I've watched co-workers ignore people who don't look the part. I've been told to let it go. But it never sat right. Monica met her eyes. Thank you for speaking up. People like you are why this place is still standing. She turned back to the room. Starting today, we're rebuilding from the inside. Some of you won't be here next week. Others will be promoted. But every single employee in this building will be retrained, not on how to sell cars, on decency. But what Monica set in motion that day wouldn't just shake her team. It would send shockwaves through the entire industry. By 8 a.m. the next morning, the corporate HR team was already in the building. Monica hadn't wasted a minute. She sat at the conference table with Dana, her assistant of 7 years, and 2 senior HR reps, Dolores and Quentin. In front of them, a pile of transcripts, security footage, and months of unresolved incident reports. Let's start with Trey, Monica said, flipping open a file. Not just what happened yesterday. Dolores scanned her notes. 2 past complaints, both female clients, both steered away from luxury models, assumptions about credit. Monica exhaled slowly. He's done. Agreed, Quentin said. They moved to the break, slicked back hair and a well-practiced smile. Looking for something specific? He asked smoothly. The woman smiled. Yes, the Macan. I've been researching it. His response was too quick. Just so you know, we require proof of funds before test drives in this section. Nothing personal, just policy. Monica's stomach clenched. The woman blinked. I wasn't asking to test drive it. I just had a question about the trim levels. Sure, he said lightly. Just putting it out there. A lot of people look, but this isn't the usual inventory. Before she could stop herself, Monica stepped in. "Is that how we speak to clients now?" The salesman turned, caught off guard. "Sorry, do you need assistance?" "No," she replied. "I need to understand why you're quoting policy to a potential buyer who hasn't even asked to drive the car." He hesitated. "It's just, we've had issues before. I didn't mean anything by it." Monica glanced at the woman who had quietly stepped back, discomfort written on her face. "I designed this section," Monica said, voice even. "I know exactly what the policy is. You're not quoting it. You're weaponizing it." The salesman's expression shifted. "Wait, you're Monica Ellison." She didn't answer. Instead, she turned to the woman. "If you're still interested in the mechan, I'd be happy to walk you through it myself." Surprise flickered across the woman's face, then curiosity. "I'd like that, yes." The salesman stepped back awkwardly. "Miss Ellison, I apologize. I'm not here for apologies," she said, already walking away. "I'm here for the truth." As Monica and the woman moved through the showroom, she explained the differences between the Macan S and GTS as effortlessly as if she were back in her early days selling cars. They laughed once or twice. She offered a test drive, never once mentioning proof of funds. When they returned, the woman smiled. You should have seen the look on his face. Monica's lips curled slightly. "I did. That's why I'm here." But as she headed toward the office wing, something gnawed at her. What she was about to uncover next would make her question whether this was just employee behavior or something rooted deep in the very foundation of her company. Monica pushed through the frosted glass door marked "Authorized Personnel Only," her ID badge swinging from her belt loop. Most employees barely noticed her in casual wear, but in the office wing, reactions were different. Heads lifted, conversations cut off mid-sentence. A few managed tight, uncertain smiles. She nodded, but didn't slow down. Her old office was at the far end, a minimalist desk, sleek lines, and a framed photo of her with her late grandfather, the man who had taught her everything about cars and people. But she didn't head there. Instead, she veered toward the break room. The door was open. Inside, two men and a woman sat at the table, casually eating lunch, half watching a sports segment on the wall-mounted TV. They hadn't noticed her. "So, what happened with that woman last week?" one of the men asked, unwrapping his sandwich. The woman chuckled. "Oh, she wanted the AMG coupe. Nose in the air the whole time. I told her there was a 6-month wait list, and guess what? She asked if we could make an exception." She smirked. "I told her, we don't do exceptions for dreams." Laughter erupted around the table. Monica leaned against the doorframe, listening. The second man added, "That's what happens when people watch too much reality TV. They think they can just waltz in and buy a 6-figure car like it's Amazon." The woman shrugged. "If they don't look the part, they probably aren't the part." Simple. Monica stepped forward. "So, what exactly does someone have to look like to buy a car here?" The room went still. All three heads snapped toward her. Ms. Ellison," the woman stammered, but Monica lifted a hand. "No, really. What's the look?" Her voice was calm, steady. "Because based on everything I've heard today, it sounds like you all have a very clear picture of who deserves to be here and who doesn't." The first man swallowed hard. "We didn't mean you did," Monica cut in. "You meant exactly what you said. You felt safe enough to say it in here because you assumed no one important was listening." She let the silence settle over them. "But the only sound left was the muted TV." Monica took a slow breath. "I built this place from the ground up. I opened it because I wanted to change how this industry treats people like me. And yet, I walk into my own business and hear this. The woman dropped her gaze. The second man started to speak, but thought better of it. Monica scanned their faces. "You think you're just making jokes," she said quietly, "but every laugh tells the next salesperson that it's okay to assume, to insult, to ignore." The silence that followed wasn't the guilty kind. It was the kind that came when people realized they weren't just caught, they were the problem. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. After a long pause, she said, "Finish your lunch. Then meet me in." A woman walks into her own empire, and no one recognizes her. What happens next shakes the entire industry. Monica Ellison stepped out of her Honda Accord, the morning sun already warming the pavement beneath her sneakers. No luxury SUV, no entourage, just her and the quiet determination she had spent years cultivating. The sky over Sacramento was a crisp blue as she paused before the glass doors, her name etched boldly across them, Ellison Auto House. A powerhouse in California's luxury car market, Audi, BMW, Jaguar, Lexus, all displayed with precision. Clean lines, polished interiors, a team trained to cater to the elite. She exhaled and stepped inside. The lobby was modern, pristine, white marble floors, an espresso bar to the right, and a massive curved LED wall showcasing high-end vehicles slicing through scenic landscapes. That aesthetic had cost her a fortune. The receptionist barely glanced up. "Morning," he muttered, eyes already back on his screen. "You here for service?" "No, just looking." A quick scan from him. No designer bag, no manicured nails, no glimmering jewelry. Not someone he was trained to impress. "Someone will be with you soon," he said, already dismissing her. Monica took in her own showroom. The scent, the curated playlist, the sleek perfection she had approved down to the smallest detail. Yet here she was, invisible. Minutes later, a salesman in a checkered blue shirt strolled over, exuding confidence. Late 30s, the type who closed deals fast and judged people even faster. "I'm Trey," he said, skipping the handshake. "Looking for something affordable." Monica arched a brow. "I haven't said what I'm looking for yet." Trey chuckled, as if he had seen it all. Sure, but I can tell. You want something reliable, maybe pre-owned. We've got a few solid deals in the back." She followed silently as he bypassed two gleaming Jaguars without a second glance, heading straight for a used Lexus parked off to the side. "This one's a beauty," he said. "Great mileage, not too flashy." Monica folded her arms. "And what makes you think I don't want flashy?" He shrugged, confident. "I've been doing this a long time. You get a feel for people." Monica Ellison met his gaze for the first time. "You think I can't afford it?" Trey's easy smile wavered. "Hey, no offense, just trying to save you some time." She didn't react, just studied his face. How the charm faded when challenged, how his eyes flicked to his watch like she wasn't worth the effort. "I'm curious," she said. "How do you decide which customers get shown the premium models?" Trey chuckled lightly. "I mean, we treat everyone the same. Just depends on the vibe, you know." Monica nodded, her expression unreadable. "Vibe?" He missed the shift in her tone completely. "Yeah, no point in taking someone through the VIP section if they're just looking." She gave him a small smile. "Do you know who I am?" A beat of silence. Trey's brow furrowed as he really looked at her for the first time. "I'm not here to buy a car," she said calmly. "I'm here to see how you treat people." "You failed." Trey's mouth opened slightly. "Wait." What? Monica reached into her bag, pulling out her ID badge. The logo matched the one on the wall. His face drained of color. I didn't know it was you." "That's the point," she said, tucking the badge away. "You didn't think you needed to. Without another word, she turned and walked past him, deeper into the showroom. What she heard next, hidden in plain sight, was worse than anything Trey had said out loud. She strolled leisurely through the polished cars, pausing by a sleek Mercedes coupe she had personally approved for the spring lineup. But she wasn't just observing, she was listening. To her left, near the espresso bar, two junior sales associates were chatting openly. They never lower their voices when they think no one important is around, she thought. Had this woman in yesterday, one of them said, sipping his coffee. Came in asking about the Q7, designer bag and everything, but I could tell she was faking it. Credit tanked when we ran it. The other guy chuckled. Gotta love the ones dressed like $1,000,000, but can't even get approved for a lease. You see the lady Trey's working with his colleague glanced in Monica's direction. Yeah, a snort. Probably walked here. You know how it is. Comes in wanting to test drive a Benz, leaves with a brochure. Monica didn't turn. She kept her eyes on a nearby touchscreen, pretending to scroll through vehicle specs. She didn't need to look to feel it. The arrogance, the casual judgment disguised as small talk, exactly what she had come here to expose. She moved toward the Porsche section, a more exclusive space with a lounge designed to feel elite, welcoming, yet subtly intimidating. She had crafted it to cater to high-profile clients. A woman was already there, mid-50s, elegant in cream slacks and a silk blouse, flipping through color options. Alone. Monica watched as another salesman approached, a tall, sharp-dressed man with